Howdy folks, this is Shane. I thought I would talk about dialing in your sound, irrespective of what amplifier you're playing into, and also why pedals are an advantage to getting your signature sound. This is not only my experience of playing live over the years, but also just my personal opinions, and everyone's got different opinions on things, but I thought I'd share with you a little bit of knowledge about what I think is the key to getting your sound consistent, irrespective of what amp you're playing. I'll give you a quick backstory. Over the last couple of months, I've played through numerous amps in a live situation. I've generally always been able to get my sound irrespective of which amp I'm plugged into. Friends of mine, they'll go to a jam night, they'll bring an amp. To save me resetting up my stuff, I'll just plug into theirs, I'll use my pedals, and I'll get pretty much the sound that I have in my head, and it doesn't matter what amp I choose. On the floor right now, we have a selection of different amps. We have the Vibrlux by Achillies. We have a Fender Blues Deluxe reissue, which I'm plugged into right now. Has a 12-inch speaker, Swamp Thing. We have a Peavey Bandit, which also has a 12-inch speaker, and that's the Texas heat speaker. And on the floor over there on the right is the Princeton from Achilles as well. It has a 10-inch speaker. So we're gonna try each of these amps, and I'm gonna try and set them up. I think the key to doing this is already having an assumption about what type of sound you want in your head. For me, I have a particular sound that I know and like as a clean platform, and that's what I try to dial in. I don't often think about where the EQ is unless I know the amp really well, but if I'm plugged into someone else's amp, I'll generally just fiddle with the EQ on the fly until I can approximate the sound I already have in my head that I know works great for my pedals. One of the advantages of using pedals as opposed to a drive channel on an amp, if you swap amps, that drive channel doesn't come with you unless of course you buy the same amp. Having pedals on a clean tone works extremely well, and it's something that has really helped me develop my own sound over the years. And a consistent sound, which is what it's all about. So I'm going to show you what my sound is actually like, and we're going to start on neck pickup into the Blues Deluxe. I got a bit of extra delay on there right now and I'm loving it. So this is with the Royal Flush Overdrive. That's essentially my sound. That's just the first gain stage on my pedal, and we'll keep it to that for today's video. Now I'm plugged into the Vibrlux. Let's see if we can dial in a clean tone that sounds great. So what I'm doing now, I'm just going to fiddle with the volume and the tone controls a little bit so the trebles come up, a little bit of extra bass. While it sounds a little bit different to the Blues Deluxe, that's obvious. It has two 10-inch speakers and a very different voicing. But as long as I can nail my clean tone, I should be good with my pedals. Sounds great. Royal Flush. With some delay. That sounds pretty wild. Back to the Blues Deluxe. So my pedals are giving me a very consistent dirty tone. Even though the clean channels do sound different, I could use my particular rig once I dial in each of these amps and it would sound great. Over to the PV Bandit now. Let's see how it sounds on clean. Sounds great, with some tape echo and one side of the Royal Flush on as per before. In the room, it sounded like the Peavey Bandit had a little bit too much top end in comparison to everything else that was going on. So I've just gone across to the amp and turned down the high end. Now, notice that I'm not actually touching my pedals. There's a reason for that. I really believe if you get your rig and your pedals sorted out for a particular sound that's in your head, you don't actually have to go fiddling with your pedals ever. Once they're down on the floor, they're good to go. Just get the amp set up right. Let's try it again. Sounds awesome. Back to the Blues Deluxe now. Now it sounds a little bit different in the mids, but that's expected. They've both got two very different speakers in the back. That said though, I like both the tones, and being able to just plonk my pedal board down the ground at any time in front of any amp will give me a great sound if I know how to dial in the clean channel. Now over to the Princeton, it's a 15 watt amp and it's got a 10-inch speaker, so the speaker's a lot smaller than the Blues Deluxe and also the Peavey as well. Let's go ahead and see if I can't pull a really great sound even with this amp. Even though it's a great amp, but that said, everything about this particular amplifier is very different to the rest. What can I say? That's a very, very usable sound and very close to the Blues Deluxe in just terms of feel and all of that kind of stuff. Given that it is based on a Fender amplifier, it does have some of those Fender tones going on that relate to the Blues Deluxe, but even so, being able to pull your sound out of any amp, irrespective of their size, is a real advantage, especially if you're using pedals. I'm absolutely convinced that once you have your pedal board sorted out with one amp that you choose to use it with, you should be able to pull that particular sound almost out of anything else. Given there's some POS amps out there, pieces of, you know, not good amps out there as well, like the mega amps, you may struggle getting your sound out of those, but once you're talking about anything that has a bit of headroom and also a bit of quality attached to it, I'm sure you'll be able to get better results using the clean tone with some pedals as opposed to just using an overdrive tone and hoping for the best, especially with unfamiliar amps. If you only use a distortion channel or an overdrive channel on an amp, that's all good. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But if you're then in a situation where you have to play someone else's amp and their drive channel sucks, you're gonna really struggle, or at least that's how it would affect me. Using pedals on a clean tone, I don't care if I'm plugged into a Marshall or a Bandit or an Achilles or a Blues Deluxe or anything, I can generally get the sound in my head out of the speaker, and it doesn't matter what speakers are in there or whatever. Some amplifiers are more toppy than others, some have more bass, some have more mids, but having that sound in your head to start with makes it really easy to go up to an amp and just play with it. Forget about what you know about the EQ controls on amps you're unfamiliar with. Just go over there and try and dial in your bass clean tone and have that in your head anytime you plug into an amp. Because what will happen is you'll put your pedal board in front of it if you choose to, and you're gonna get a great sound. It's just the way it is. The subjective part of these amplifiers is all up to you. You might like one better than the other. I kind of like them all for different reasons. Once you start using pedals, there's not a whole lot of difference in terms of tone. And this is what's great. Start with that really big, rich sounding clean channel, and you're set. If you've got an amp that does that and you use pedals, you're absolutely set. There'd be no reason to upgrade to another amp. I wanted to explain that the sound I have in my head is what I can get out of any amp. Even when I'm doing the Mustang presets, even when I've had the Boss Katana, I've managed to dial in that fundamental clean tone that I love for the patches that I use, and then I use effects on top of that to get the sound that I like. I don't think I've ever heard a drive channel on an amp that sounds as good as a great clean tone with an overdrive pedal for the style of music I play. I know they're boogies and all that, they have great distortion channels, but for blues, and I honestly feel that the easiest way to pull a great sound is just using a clean tone with some really great pedals. For those wondering what type of pedals I was using the Royal Flush. God, that Princeton sounds good. And the Tape Echo from Wampler. Thanks again for watching, folks. If this video is helpful, please give it a thumbs up. This video is aimed at folks that might just be getting into gear or that might also be playing live but can never quite pull the exact sound that they're looking for. Thanks again for watching, folks, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell for future notifications from my channel. If you'd like to find out more about my help tutorial series, I'll post them up in the cards and you can check them out. Thanks again for watching. Catch you soon. See ya.